Hi, Marbs here, and it's time for Marbs' Xbox News. And there's nothing that is more news in the Microsoft community right now than the information of the Microsoft data breach. That's right. And a massive amount of highly classified and unredacted Microsoft documents have leaked as part of the FTC versus Microsoft case, and it isn't good. Now, Phil Spencer has said that a lot has changed, and we really shouldn't take everything that we see here for granted. And I would say that, yeah, that's probably true, but some of this is definitely not going to change because it's already in the pipeline and being planned. So first thing, let's talk about Codename Brooklin. Codename Brooklin is the code name that Microsoft is using for the Xbox Series X refresh. Now, what is this Series X refresh? I think the way to think of this is this is a Series X version of the S console. That's right, it's all digital, no optical drive. Brooklin is designed to do 4K Gen 9 with more internal storage, faster Wi-Fi, reduced power consumption, and obviously a new controller that we'll talk about in a minute here. But let's talk about some specifics. First of all, the internal SSD has been up to 2 terabytes. Second, it has a USB-C front port with power delivery. So we're finally moving towards USB-C. It is still going to offer the same kind of aesthetics, except this time it's a little bit rounded. The updated technology include a all new South Bridge. Thank God. We have needed a new South Bridge for a long time, and I'm hoping that with the new South Bridge, we're going to get full speed USB 3.2. That would be excellent for offloading games. It is going to include Wi-Fi 6E for those of you who use the Wi-Fi. It's going to have Bluetooth 5.2 for an improved accessory experience. So I think we can count on more devices taking advantage of the Bluetooth connection to the Xbox. It has a less powerful power supply, and it has reduced the power consumption by 15% and 20% more in standby. The best thing that a lot of people are going to want to know is that they have shrunk the die to 6 nanometers. So that means that the heat's not going to be as bad, and it is going to take less power. But the lack of the optical drive seems to be the part that's causing a lot of Xbox fans some heartache here. I do not think that Microsoft is ready to discard optical media. There is too much of optical media that is necessary for backward compatibility, for example. And, what are you going to do with people that have large collections of optical discs and they can't play them on their console? That's why I do think we are entering the era of the external Blu-ray drive, perhaps. That's something that Microsoft has talked about before. So I do think that Brooklin is a Series X refresh, but I don't know that it'll be the only Series X refresh. I would like to see perhaps an Xbox Series X Pro version that includes a storage expansion card up front, as well as additional USB ports and a storage expansion card slot in the rear as well, so that when my friends come over, they can bring their storage expansion card and just plug it into the front of my console, and away we go. No more fumbling around trying to plug it into the back and those sorts of things. I do think that, with a 6 nanometer die shrink, I think there are some things that they could do with a Pro version of the console. But my most important thing is that I'll be able to take and move my games from the internal SSD to my external at a lot faster rate than I can today. At least that's my hope. So I don't know that the optical drive is gone, so I think people need to take a little bit of a breath. But I will say it is still at the $499 price tag, and they say that the reason it's still at the $499 price tag, despite the loss of the optical drive, is because they're putting 2 terabytes of SSD in it. So I don't know if I buy that. I think that, there's a lot of conjecture that can be made about this console. And I don't know that that is the direction that they are going to go to. Based on some of the negative reaction that they've received about the fact that this console does not have an optical drive, you have to wonder if they will continue to want to not pursue having an optical solution of some sort for backward compatibility. Now let's talk about the new controller. Sebile is the new controller, and it is they call it Ubiquity Play Anywhere controller. It uses the Xbox Wireless 2. It has direct to cloud support, so you can play streaming games with your controller. I think that's kind of cool. Does Bluetooth 5.2. Now it has a new mobile app apparently that's going to allow you to pair, switch, and manage your accessories. I think that's something we've needed for a while, so I think that's good. It's going to have haptic feedback, and the haptics double as speakers. Going to have an accelerometer, quieter buttons, and thumbsticks. And I am understanding that the thumbsticks are modular. They have improved longevity, and they have new build improvements. I do not know if they're electromagnetic, sticks or not, but that's something that still we don't really know. The design of the controller itself is pretty much the same. It has a new lift awake feature, which I think is interesting, and it has the same ergonomics that Microsoft is known for in their controllers. Now, I think it's really, really good news that they're moving this direction with the controller, and I do think that that's something that a lot of people want. Now, let's talk about what all this means. What does all this that we've seen here mean? I think it means a whole lot of nothing. I think there is no doubt we've known that we are getting a new controller. Okay, so that is coming. Now, do I think Brooklyn is coming? Based on some of the things that we have been seeing as how the Xbox ecosystem is developing, especially with some of these bigger games. A good example is the new Mortal Kombat 1, 140 gig. The need for larger storage on the SSD is necessary. So I think the fact that they're bringing out a 4K digital console with large storage isn't really a surprise, because a lot of people don't want to play at 1080p anymore. They want to play 4K. And if you want to play 4K, you need an Xbox Series X, to get those, dynamite resolutions and those great graphics. But I do think we are going to enter the era of the external Blu-ray drive. And I do think that in the end, that's going to be Microsoft's solution to backwards compatibility. So, my name is Marbs. Thank you for watching. Subscribe now, and we'll see you in the next one. Bye now.